Now another thing here we have decided to offer, because I know many of you are not coffee drinkers, is tea. And again, it's not, I came in here when they weren't working so I wouldn't be in the way, but I'll have to come back when they are so that you can see exactly this process. But here are the labels for our different teas. We currently have 5 options in the tea line. We have a classic chai, we have a warm spiced orange, one called Autumn Orchard, one called Unwind for Rest, and Herbal Hibiscus. We do have listed on the website and on each bag, we have listed the ingredients, the brew instructions, and the precautions, because when you're dealing with herbal teas, plants are medicine, and you know, some plants should not be used by people who have certain conditions or are pregnant. So we've got that listed on the website to make sure that we are selling these things safely. I'm actually as much of a tea drinker as I am a coffee drinker. It's seasonal for me. I drink a lot more coffee in the spring and the summer when I'm working in the garden a lot. And then when I'm inside during the winter, I tend to drink more hot tea. Jeremiah's Nana is from Newfoundland, and hot tea is a very big part of the culture there. And so when I married him was when I first took up drinking hot tea with cream and sugar in it. Or at this point, I drink a lot of herbal tea with nothing in it at all. But I love tea. Our teas are currently sourced through organic sources. We also very much want to mindfully source those. In the future, I would very much like to be able to use some of my own herbs that I'm growing in my garden in teas. That's very doable. However, I need to create some more fencing and some different things just to make sure that I'm able to protect those from any sort of contamination or anything like that. I don't want to be letting my dog run through garden where I'm selling stuff to people. So that's in the future, but we're not there yet. As it is right now, I feel really good about the teas. They're amazing. I really enjoy them. So all of these are the shipping boxes, the labels, the tabs. This is where we set up the computer and print off labels. This is the sealer that seals the bags. We have 2 of these. Whenever it's full production, this is just completely covered. Setting up all of these. Here's our grinder. We do sell ground coffee for people who do not have a grinder. So this is actually really very much step 1 of all the things that we've talked about doing down here. Right now we've had a lot of local people asking, well, when can we come get a cup of coffee? The coffee house is phase 3, so we want to get the exchange open before we do that. So that's a little ways down the road. However, we got this back area paved. You'll notice here we have a little to-go window back there. And we do have a fully functioning little pop-up coffee shop here in the corner. Now, our long-term vision is that when we have the coffee shop open next door, when we have events, which we will be having regular events, when we have farmers markets and live music events and plant sales, this back area is where a lot of that stuff will happen. And when that happens, when we have a whole lot of people, this shop here and this to-go window will essentially be during those events only. It'll be kind of like reinforcement so that the coffee house next door doesn't get super bogged down. We'll have 2 areas where people can come and order. In the meantime, however, we plan on doing something really similar. Next spring, even though it does not look like we will have the exchange open by then, we are hoping to start doing some markets and some plant sales here, having live music on the stage and selling coffee out of this to-go window, as well as having a booth ourselves to sell plants and things and opening up the opportunity for other vendors. Overall, this has been really amazing. I mean, launching anything to a really large audience, it can be pretty intense, I guess. My thing is I didn't want to just be a content creator that just made some coffee. I didn't want it to be just like merch that we had. I really wanted to create a craft coffee brand that could make a difference in the world, that can essentially connect farmers with people who valued what they were doing, that provided options for the consumers that we could feel good about. I wanted to be able to create atmosphere for our local community. And though this is the early stages of that, I definitely feel like I can see that we're on the right path and on the right trajectory. We've gotten incredible feedback from the people who have purchased coffee from us. We've had just wonderful reviews, wonderful feedback, and our hope is to continue expanding. On our goal board within the next, I would say, few months to handful of months, like 3 to 4 months, our goal is to be offering coffee from other single origins. We're currently working on developing a blend, as well as introducing a decaf option and about 5 more tea. One thing that we are looking at doing is setting up a system for creating K-cups, because we understand that that's how a lot of people like to create their coffee. And when you purchase K-cups, oftentimes the coffee in those cups is not fair trade, or it is, if it is fair trade, a lot of times it's months old before it's put in those cups, just because a lot of times you have to send those off to an operation and then get them back before you can sell them. And so we're kind of exploring the option of making that more direct, where we can roast coffee and get it into K-cups pretty immediately and get it sent out to people, so that people who are using a Keurig and they're not wanting to expand away from that, so that they can experience really fresh coffee and fair trade coffee and be able to support these farmers as well. So right now we're feeling out a lot of options, and we're looking at expansion and trying to do it as healthily as possible.